Imagine this. You jolt awake in the dead of night. The world outside is silent, the air feels different, and your mind is suddenly alert, as if something just called you back from the depths of sleep. You check your phone. It's between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Again. Maybe this has happened once or twice. Maybe it's happening every night. At first, you brush it off as stress, bad sleep habits, or just an odd coincidence. But deep down, you can't shake the feeling that it means something more. What if I told you you're not imagining it? Waking up at this hour isn't random. It's not just about your body. It's about your mind, your emotions, and even your soul. Ancient wisdom, spiritual traditions, and even modern psychology all point to a deeper truth. This is the hour of awakening. For centuries, monks, philosophers, and seekers of wisdom have believed that waking up during these hours is a sign, a message from the universe, from your subconscious, or even from your own untapped potential. And if you ignore it, you might be missing out on the most important transformation of your life. So what's really happening when you wake up at this time? Is it a mere biological response? Or is your mind trying to tell you something profound? And most importantly, what should you do about it? Stay with me until the end, because in this video, we're going to break down the 5 powerful steps you need to take when you wake up at this mysterious hour. By the time we're done, you'll never look at 3 a.m. the same way again. Step number 1, stop resisting. Acknowledge the awakening. Most people, when they wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do one of 2 things. They panic or they get frustrated. They toss and turn, forcing themselves back to sleep, or they reach for their phone, desperate for distraction. They see this as a problem, something to be fixed, something unnatural. But what if I told you this is the first mistake? Waking up at this time isn't random. In ancient wisdom and spiritual traditions, this window, often called the witching hour or the divine hour, is believed to be the time when the universe is at its quietest, when the barriers between the physical and the spiritual world are at their thinnest. It's the hour of clarity. In Eastern traditions, this period aligns with the lungs in traditional Chinese medicine, the organ linked to grief, emotions, and the processing of deeper truths. So when you wake up at this time, it's not just your body acting up. It's a message, a signal, a call to awareness. And yet most people ignore it. They suppress it. They resist it. Here's where true Stoic wisdom comes in. Instead of resisting reality, embrace it. The moment you open your eyes at this hour, accept it as a gift rather than a problem. Don't rush to go back to sleep. Don't distract yourself with social media or TV. Don't panic. Instead, pause, breathe, observe what you're feeling. Ask yourself, why am I awake right now? What's on my mind? Is there something I've been avoiding? Because here's the truth. Your mind wakes you up for a reason. Maybe it's stress, an unresolved problem, or an emotion you've been suppressing. Maybe it's a moment of clarity trying to break through the noise of your daily distractions. This is the moment of awakening, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. If you ignore it, you stay stuck in the same cycle. But if you acknowledge it, you open the door to transformation. So the next time you wake up at this hour, don't resist it. Welcome it, because this is the first step to understanding the deeper message behind your awakening. Step number 2, listen to the silence, decode the hidden message. Most people underestimate the power of silence. They think of it as an absence, an emptiness. But in reality, silence is where the deepest truths reveal themselves. And if you're waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., there's a reason. It's not just a fluke. It's your subconscious mind, your inner wisdom, or even the universe itself trying to communicate something important. The question is, are you listening? At this hour, the world is still. There are no distractions, no noise from the outside world, no chaos of the day clouding your mind. This is when your inner voice speaks the loudest. And yet, most people drown it out. They panic, they fight it, they escape into meaningless distractions, scrolling through their phones, turning on the TV, or forcing themselves back to sleep. But what if instead of running away from the silence, you leaned into it? What if you treated it as a sacred moment, a rare opportunity to hear what your deeper self is trying to tell you? Here's how you do it. Resist the urge to grab your phone. Technology is the easiest escape, but it also shuts down the very process that's trying to unfold naturally. Don't silence the message before you even get a chance to hear it. Pay attention to what thoughts come to you first. Is there a problem you've been avoiding? A fear? A regret? Something unresolved? These thoughts don't surface randomly. Your mind is showing you what truly matters, what needs to be addressed for you to grow. Tune into your emotions. Are you anxious, peaceful, restless, excited? These feelings are clues guiding you towards something deeper. Listen to your body. Do you feel tense, light, heavy? Your body holds emotions that your mind might be ignoring. Pay attention to where you feel discomfort or ease. It can reveal more than you think. The Stoics believed in self-examination, constantly questioning their own actions, thoughts, and emotions. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." If something is waking you up at this hour, it's often not reality that's haunting you. It's your unexamined thoughts, the things you haven't confronted yet. And here's the hard truth. If you don't listen, the message will only get louder. You'll keep waking up. You'll keep feeling restless. You'll keep experiencing the same mental loops. Because the mind doesn't forget what it needs you to resolve. It just waits for the quietest moment to remind you. So don't waste this moment. Sit in the silence. Listen without fear, because within this silence lies the answers you've been looking for. Step number 3, confront your deepest fears. They're not as powerful as you think. There's a reason why 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is called the hour of the wolf in many cultures. It's the time when fears feel the strongest, when anxieties creep in, when everything you've buried during the day comes rushing to the surface. It's as if the universe is forcing you to face what you've been avoiding. Most people fight these thoughts. They toss and turn in bed, trying to push them away. But here's the harsh truth. What you resist persists. The more you suppress your fears, the stronger they become. The more you run from them, the more they chase you. But what if, instead of running, you face them head on? The Stoics believe that fear is just a story we tell ourselves, one that grows in the darkness of our minds. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In other words, fear is an illusion. It exists only because we allow it to. Here's how to break free. Acknowledge the fear. Don't run from it. Name it. Write it down if you have to. The moment you bring it into the light, it starts losing its grip over you. Ask yourself, is this fear based on reality or just my perception? Most of the time, we fear things that haven't even happened or things that are nowhere near as bad as we imagine them to be. Challenge the worst-case scenario. What's the absolute worst that could happen? And if it did, could you survive it? The answer in most cases is yes. Use the Stoic technique of premeditatio malorum. Imagine your fear becoming reality. Sit with it. Accept it. Once you do this, you rob it of its power. You realize that even if the worst happens, you are still in control of how you respond. Turn fear into action. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, use it as fuel. If you're afraid of failure, take a step forward. If you're afraid of rejection, embrace it. The only way to destroy fear is to walk through it. The key takeaway? Fear is nothing but a shadow. It disappears the moment you shine a light on it. The next time you wake up in the middle of the night, don't see it as a curse. See it as an opportunity, a moment to take your power back. Step number 4, reconnect with something greater than yourself. Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the world is silent. The distractions of the day, social media, work, conversations, are gone. It's just you, your thoughts, and something deeper that most people ignore. Your connection to the universe, to nature, to something greater than yourself. This is the time when many ancient philosophers, monks, and spiritual seekers would meditate, reflect, and seek wisdom. The Stoics believe that humans are just a small part of a much larger whole, and that understanding this can bring a sense of peace. Seneca once said, "We are waves of the same sea, leaves of the same tree, flowers of the same garden." When you wake up at this mysterious hour, perhaps it's not a coincidence, it's an invitation. but an invitation to what? To pause, to listen, to connect. Here's how you can use this moment wisely. Step outside or sit by an open window. Feel the night air, look at the sky, listen to the faint sounds of the world before it wakes up. Realize that you are part of something far bigger than your daily struggles. Reflect on your place in the universe. Ask yourself, am I living with purpose? Am I making the most of my time? This is what the Stoics called memento mori, the reminder that life is fleeting. Instead of fearing it, use it as motivation. Read or meditate on ancient wisdom. The Stoics, the Buddhists, and many other great minds left behind thoughts that can change your life. A few lines of wisdom at 4 a.m. can shift your entire perspective. Practice gratitude. List 3 things you're grateful for. Even in your darkest moments, there is always light, always something to be thankful for. Let go of control. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control things we cannot change. The Stoics taught amor fati, love of fate. Accept what is and move forward with strength. If you keep waking up at this time, maybe it's not insomnia. Maybe it's a calling, a rare opportunity to see life with clarity. Don't waste it. Use it to reconnect, to reflect, and to become stronger. Step number 5, take action and redefine your path. Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. might not just be a sign, it might be a wake-up call in the truest sense. A call to change, to act, to stop delaying the things you know you need to do. Most people push their dreams, their goals, and their self-improvement to tomorrow. But what if your mind and body are waking you up at this hour because tomorrow is no longer an option? The Stoics believed that action is everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, thinking and planning are useless without action. If you keep waking up at this hour, ask yourself, what is my mind trying to tell me? What am I avoiding? What changes have I been postponing? Maybe it's time to finally start that business, write that book, leave that toxic relationship, or change the habits that are holding you back. Maybe you already know what you need to do, but fear and comfort are keeping you stuck. Here's how to break the cycle. Write down your biggest regrets so far. If you had acted sooner, how different would your life be? Use that as fuel. Choose one small action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Even if it's just a small step. Stop waiting for motivation. The Stoics believed in discipline over feelings. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. Visualize your future self. If you keep delaying, where will you be in 5 years? If you start now, how much can change? Embrace discomfort. Growth is painful, but stagnation is worse. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Waking up at this hour might feel like an annoyance, but maybe it's something more. Maybe it's a chance to reset, to take control, to finally become who you were meant to be. The question is, will you ignore the call or will you answer it?